Hey everybody, I'm Bo from PD, and today I'm bringing you Tip Tuesday from our parachute maintenance department room. So our feedback from last week, some people had been asking about heading performance and what they can do on their packing and whatnot to help them with heading performance on their openings. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that. Now the obvious answer is through packing technique, right? Just neat packing, symmetrical packing, slider control, all that stuff. Which if you're curious on that, you can go back and watch previous Tip Tuesdays, and maybe on our YouTube site you can check that out for packing techniques and really how to control that slider throughout the S-folds and bagging the canopy and all that. Today I want to point out three other things though, which you may not have heard before, but can definitely contribute to heading performance. So the first one would be pilot chute type. A lot of people use ZP pilot chutes, and we see that pretty commonly in the field, a ZP pilot chute. ZP has been traditionally used in pilot chutes because it lasts longer than, let's say, an F111 type pilot chute. However, if you're using a ZP pilot chute, over time that ZP can oscillate as it's coming off the jumper's back and as it's bringing the canopy to line stretch. If that pilot chute is oscillating, it can obviously cause the bag to wobble, and therefore when the canopy comes out of the bag, it can be asymmetric to the wind or rotated to some degree, which can definitely lead to an off-heading opening. So if you replace your ZP pilot chute with an F111 type pilot chute, that can lead to a cleaner extraction from the jumper's back, as well as then better on-heading performance throughout the rest of the opening. So PD, we recommend using F111 type pilot chutes to promote the best on-heading performance for openings. If you're using a ZP pilot chute and it works great for you, awesome, sweet, no need to switch it. But if you're using a ZP pilot chute and maybe you are having some heading issues, maybe try swapping it out with F111. All right, next up we're gonna look at the canopy and talk about some of that stuff. The next thing to look at is the line trim on your canopy. If your canopy is out of trim, it can definitely lead to off-heading openings and funky openings. So how do we do that? First up, we're gonna run up the lines, droop the canopy over our shoulder and get nice line tension on the canopy. And then let's take a closer look at our A-lines here. So we moved our nose of the canopy to one side so we can isolate our A-lines just like this. The A-lines are the ones that run straight to the nose of the parachute. If you have a difference of more than 3 inches in these outer lines, this one and this one, compared to the inner lines, then our parachute maintenance department would call that out of trim. So what that would look like is something like this, where those outer lines, this is hard to do, where those outer lines have shrunk over time enough to cause more than a 3-inch difference in the outer compared to the inner. So check that out. If your lines are out of trim more than 3 inches, it's time to send it in and get some new lines put on there. And the last thing to think about is how many times you roll the tail. A lot of people will take the tail and they'll really roll it and roll it and roll it and roll it to help them with the rest of the pack job. However, all of this rolling is causing asymmetry in the opening, which can, again, lead to off-heading openings. So what we recommend is no more than 2 to 4 rolls in this area. Your exact technique can differ from what I do. You know, there's a lot of people that will do really fine rolls, but only a couple right here. There's people that will do folds, right? That's kind of up to you. Mostly you're trying to make sure that you don't over roll the tail. So my technique is to pinch the seams together. I'm going to do about a 1-inch fold at both the top and the bottom. And I'm going to do that twice, and then I'm going to do 2 more on bottom. 3 and 4. That's about all you need to roll the tail. The only reason we're rolling it is to help with the cocooning process. So go ahead and try that out, see how it works for you. The other reason for off-heading openings is obviously body position, right? If on deployment you're coming out of a track, maybe you're a little uneven, not square in the harness, if you're looking up at the canopy, anything like that. But that's on you guys. So try that out, try the techniques out. Hopefully you're having good openings, hopefully you're having fun out there. And if you have any feedback or want to know anything for next Tuesday, hit us up, let us know. Any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next week.